Washington, D.C. is one of the top 10 most visited cities in the U.S. For the next few months, you are lucky enough to call this place home. During your time here, you may want to have family and friends visit, and this video will prepare you for their stay with us at NYU, Washington, D.C. NYU defines a guest as anyone who does not reside at Annette N. and Theodore M. Lerner Family Residential Hall. The privilege of hosting guests is extended with the understanding that you and your roommates will communicate and agree on the time, date, frequency, and duration of each visitor. You are permitted to have short-term guests and/or overnight guests. To start, let's talk about the short-term guest policy. A short-term guest is defined as someone visiting the NYU Washington, D.C. site between the hours of 9 a.m. and 11 p.m. on weeknights and 9 a.m. and 1 a.m. on weekends. Residents are not permitted to have more than 4 short-term guests signed in with security at a time. In order to speed up the sign-in process, be sure that your guest has a valid photo ID prior to arrival. When it is time for short-term guests to leave, residents must sign them out with security in order for them to have their ID returned. Overnight guests are defined as non-NYU Washington, D.C. residents who are present between the hours of 11 p.m. and 9 a.m. on weeknights and 1 a.m. and 9 a.m. on weekends. Please note that overnight guests will not be permitted until all residents have completed their lifestyle agreements with an RLA, usually around the 3rd week of classes. Guest passes can be picked up in the Resource Center at your convenience. Completed guest passes must be submitted for approval to a residential life staff member 24 hours in advance of your guest's arrival. Approved guest passes will be ready for pickup with security. Remember, a host must be present in order for their guest to receive their pass. Here are 4 quick rules that you need to know about overnight guests. A host may have 3 or less overnight guests at a time. Overnight guests are permitted to stay 3 or less consecutive nights in a given visit. A host may not sign in a guest for more than 6 nights per calendar month, whether this be the same or different guests. While the entire community may really enjoy the company of your guest, no guest is permitted to stay at the Annette N. and Theodore M. Lerner Family Residential Hall for more than 6 nights in a calendar month. In order to avoid the loss of guest privileges, please inform your guest of community rules and expectations as they will need to abide by them. We encourage you to familiarize yourself with the NYU Washington, D.C. guest policy further on our NYU website. We hope that these policies keep our community fun, safe, and inviting for all NYU Washington, D.C. residents. For additional questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to contact a member of the Residential Life team.